Mark Golding, one of the People's National Party's presidential candidate, has received a huge endorsement from the General Secretary of the People's National Party's youth organization, Dexter Martin. Information coming in as well is that 14 of the 21 delegates of the PNPYO have thrown their full support behind the Member of Parliament for St. Andrew Southern for the presidency of the PNP. According to Martin, Jamaica is in need of a People's National Party that is vocal, vibrant, and that is a visionary. A political organization that is grounded in a sense of duty to the uplifting of the masses of the people. A political organization that listens and that has the people at the center of its decision making. According to Martin, Comrade Mark Golding is the person to lead the PNP. He mentioned that he is appealing to the delegates to vote for the second-term Member of Parliament for Southern St. Andrew, Mark Golding. The challenge between Mark Golding and Lisa Hanna is heating up as it enters the final stretch. The presidential elections is scheduled for next week Saturday, November 7, 2020. Lisa Hanna recently made a complaint with the PNP Monitoring Committee because of a list of delegates that was submitted by the National Workers' Union. And this list that was submitted by the National Workers' Union is the list that is going into the challenge for the presidency of the People's National Party. All of 65 persons are on that list from the National Workers' Union, and it is the same 65 persons that were on the list that was submitted in 2019 when Peter Bunting took on the challenge to try to wrestle the presidency of the People's National Party from Dr. Peter Phillips in 2019. Monitoring Committee had a meeting last week and the list remains unchanged for the National Workers' Union. So this same list with 65 persons will be used in the elections. The final list of delegates was due to be published as well, but it has not been published as yet. According to Dexter Martin, the decision to support Golding is in alignment with the political organization's current needs. Statement coming from the president of the People's National Party's youth organization, Crystal Tomlinson, is however different from the views shared by Dexter Martin. According to Tomlinson, she is sure that Hannah will get the job done even if she's under pressure. The PNPYO's president has stated that she believes resolutely that both candidates are eminently qualified and will be unwaveringly dedicated to the People's National Party and the cause of uplifting the people of Jamaica. But she could only support one, and her support is for Lisa Hanna. The criticisms coming in from supporters of Mark Golding and other persons in the public are that Lisa Hanna only won her seat by a mere 31 votes in Southeast St. Ann in the September 3rd parliamentary elections. But Tomlinson is arguing that the important thing is that Hannah got the job done in securing the Southeast St. Ann seat for the PNP. The debate about a margin cannot obscure the fact that the job was done. Lisa Hanna was under pressure in her seat, and she had every reason to batten down and work exclusively in her Southeast St. Ann constituency. But according to Tomlinson, she saw Hannah commit time to working with new candidates, commit time to helping to garner support across the island where possible for the People's National Party. She also reminded persons that while Lisa Hanna was under pressure in her seat, she chose to play a lead role in the People's National Party's national campaign as a spokesperson and invested personal resources into the central campaign to aid branding and visibility for candidates. In the interim, Tomlinson, who is a former candidate for West Rural St. Andrew, has stated that she has seen Hannah weather many storms in her personal, professional, political, and parental life, and at every juncture she has emerged with a tall spine, steady hand, and a firm voice. That is what leadership requires. So therefore, it is Ms. Tomlinson's opinion that Lisa Hannah will make the better candidate for the presidency of the People's National Party. She further went on to state that leadership requires that you have the ability to accept your mistakes, apologize for your errors that is made along your journeys, and then commit sincerely to renewal and rebuilding. Tomlinson signaled her full support for Hannah, but other members of the PNP Youth Organization's executive are in full support of Golding. The persons that are in full support of Mark Golding include Dexroy Martin, the PNPYO General Secretary, Keena Cummins, the Vice President of the PNP Youth Organization, Akeem Dobson, the Vice President of the People's Youth Organization, and Sharian Henry, the PNPYO's Treasurer. As it stands, the PNP Youth Organization is not in agreement about who to support for the presidency of the People's National Party. The General Secretary and two of the Vice Presidents are clearly in support of Mark Golding's presidential campaign, and the President, along with another member, seems to be in full support of Lisa Hannah. Based on statements, 14 out of the 21 are in support of Mark Golding, but information coming in from those who support Lisa Hannah within the youth organization is that maybe 10 are in support of Mark Golding, but not 14. So the statements about 14 persons or delegates from the PNPYO being in support of Golding, according to those persons, is false. But they are also stating that the young persons seem to gravitate more to Lisa Hannah and less to Mark Golding. And it's strange because Mark Golding is the one who is advocating for the inclusion of all PNP affiliates, especially the youth groups, into the central core of the PNP's political organization. So this seems like it's a little bit unbalanced or off in terms of how it should all flow. I have not heard Ms. Hannah mention anything about pulling the youth organization affiliates into the core of the party or into the central decision making of the unit. But it has always been a statement that is coming from Mark Golding about being more inclusive and about the youth being incorporated into the party to ensure that the generations to come will be able to properly lead the organization into a better future. So it is therefore easier for us to understand if the youth affiliate groups would gravitate more to Golding than to Lisa Hannah. But we are not aware of their reasons. Maybe it is because Lisa Hannah has been a 4-term MP in comparison to Mark Golding, who has only been around for 2 terms. But nonetheless, it is about the one who is advocating for you as a unit to be included within the group, and a person who is stating that they will respect your opinion and include your opinions. But the various groups understand their own reasons. On the other hand, however, the Patriots seem to be in full support of Mark Golding, because statements coming from that president of the Patriots is that he's in full support of Golding, and that a majority of the Patriots members are throwing their full support behind Mark Golding for the presidency of the People's National Party. According to Dexroy, Mark Golding is the man for the job, and he is what the political organization needs at this time. And I'm sure the president of the Patriots share this idea as well. And it is their opinion that he is the perfect candidate for the job. And of course, they have stated that his abilities to lead and his ability in terms of financial acumen and entrepreneurial abilities will also help him to lead the party to a better future and to lead them towards a place of redevelopment, reformation, renewal, and rebuilding. At the time, the president of the Patriots had mentioned that they are in need of someone who can go from constituency to constituency to properly assess what the needs are, and the person will be able to spend time working with candidates at the constituency and divisional level to rebuild the political organization. They also mentioned that they are in need of a leader who will ensure that training programs are put in place to properly monitor and see how they are executed. The president of the Patriots had mentioned that he firmly believes that Mark has a whole lot of experience between his legal firm and his private sector entities that he has spent time building. And that is why he believes that these skill sets and experience is transferable to the kind of work that is required in the PNP at the moment. He also believes that the party has been so factious over the last couple of years that they are in need of someone who is not as polarizing, someone who does not stir any negative feelings in people about them. They don't need a leader that people will have negative feelings about within and outside of the party. The president of the Patriots and members believe that declaring their support and interest in the Golden presidential campaign is a good idea because Golden is a unifier, and he has strategically included members from the 2019 September Bunting Challenge. He has included persons who were on the opposing side, persons who were in support of Dr. Peter Phillips at the time. He has deliberately included them in his presidential campaign, and this shows that Mark Golden is trying his best to lead the party to a united place, even whilst he is working on his presidential campaign for the November 7th presidential election. Trust believe that this current Member of Parliament for Southern St. Andrew and former Justice Minister of the last PNP's administration has all the necessary skill sets and has met all of the necessary requirements in their mind and opinion of who they would like to see become the next president of the party. He has no sense of anything in relation to divisiveness, or nor does anyone have any complaints about Mark Golden being divisive. No one has anything negative to say about this man. Therefore, they believe that with the leaders of his constituency in full support of him, this will actually increase his margin in the constituency coming out of that contest. So they are in firm belief that Mark Golden will be able to safely secure the presidency of the People's National Party. But of course, leave your comments down below. Is it a matter that you agree with Crystal Tomlinson, who is the president of the PNPYO, or is it that you agree with Dexter Martin, who is the general secretary of that very same PNPYO? Or is it that you are in agreement with the Patriots president, who is fully supporting Mark Golden? So almost it seems like half of the PNPYO is supporting Lisa Hanna and the other 50% is supporting Mark Golden. For the Patriots, however, it seems like they have made a united decision to support Mark Golden.